And if you complain to the YMCA about their genitalia and what they're dressed like, you might get yourself banned. It's what exactly happened to an 80-year-old woman in Washington state.
Fox News is about to cover a story about an 80-year-old woman harassing a transgender woman at a local YMCA pool in Washington. Listen to how they frame this story versus the reality of what actually happened.
Here's a scene. Democrats used to stand up for women, but now they can't even define one. And as a result, you have 80-year-old Julie Jamon, who said she was banned from a pool and locker room facility that was managed by the Olympic Peninsula YMCA out in Port Townsend, Washington. The YMCA put out a statement basically saying we're not going to tolerate the bias, discrimination, or hatred. And of course, in Washington state, the law allows anyone to use a locker room, changing room, or bathroom that aligns with their gender identity. So they're basically saying we're doing what we have to do, except, of course, protect women who don't want to see this.
Unbelievable. That guy should be ashamed of himself behind the mask.
Here's what actually happened. This woman, Julie Jamon, walked into the women's locker room and immediately asked a transgender worker if she had a penis, because she assumed the worker was going to molest the children. Jamon complained to another worker who told her that she was being discriminatory. In response to this, Jamon began picketing the pool for 2 straight days with a petition and even took this matter up with the CEO for the local YMCA. The CEO says that a worker told her that Jamon yelled, quote, "You're going to stick your effing penis in those little girls." Jamon is denying that she said that. According to a YMCA spokesperson, Jamon was permanently banned from the pool for her abusive, harassing, and obscene language towards staff. Does this really sound like this woman is the victim here? The community sure doesn't. Many residents rallied behind the transgender worker at a local city council meeting.
And I would like to point out to anyone that is feeling unsafe and is listening in to conversations that the only person that has made children feel afraid is not going to be present anymore at the pool. The only person that has discriminated against someone is no longer allowed in the pool.
Personally, I've been around trans people for like decades now, so it's hard for me to understand what the problem is. I've shared a locker room with a trans person, probably more than I know of, and it's just really never been a threat.
Have any of you ever said, even those of us in our 40s, if it wasn't for this aching back or bad knee or cataracts, I'd still think I was 35, 25. Sometimes our bodies hide who we really are. Senior bodies, young bodies, trans bodies that look one way but feel absolutely different. Instead of telling people who they are based upon appearance, let's ask people who they are and trust them to know themselves, and above all else, always, always be kind.